5, 4, 3, 2.
Yugi Bros!
Guys, this is part 3 to my Errata'd some skills video. If you guys would like to see parts 1 and 2, I'll leave the link to both of those in the description down below. But with that out of the way, let's continue this video, shall we? Into the darkness below. Activate the skill during your main phase. Once per turn, you can discard one normal fiend monster, then use one of the following skills. Draw one card, also flip this card over. If you have 4 or more fiend normal monsters with different names in your grave, add one monster from your deck to your hand, also flip this card over. I simply would get rid of normal. Allow me to use this in fiend decks, but don't force me to play normal monsters because that just ruins it. It's a Toon World. This card is treated as Toon World. If this just stays outside the game, meaning you always have a Toon World up, perfectly fine. I know everyone's gonna be like, what? That's insane. You have a Toon World that can't be destroyed ever? I don't know why I added the accent to that. And my answer to you would be, guys, Toons still say they can't attack the turn they're summoned. You're still playing the catch-up game in Toon, but at least Toons then aren't complete awful garbage. Or at the very least, if you want it to be like a ticking time bomb, just say that it's Toon World, it's outside the game, but it's only face up for like 5 turns and then it's flipped face down forever. It's Jinzo! Again, lazy name, guys. Lazy name. Jinzo monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's skill cards. That's really good against inner conflict. Once per turn during your main phase, if you control Jinzo, you can look at one face down card in your opponent's spell and trap zones, and if it's a trap, draw one card. Sure. Hey, it's my lucky day! When you activate an effect that would make you roll a 6-sided die or dice, or flip a coin or coins, you can pay 1,000 life points to decide the dice roll or the coin flip. The skill can only be used once per duel. I'd tell you to change it to twice per duel, but I also don't want to change every single skill in the world, and this card was relevant for a little while, so probably just leave it be. The fact, though, that you have to pay 1,000 life points is kind of ridiculous. Either get rid of 1,000 life points and leave it where it's at, or if you're keeping the 1,000 life points, turn this to like 2 or 3 times per duel, because you're paying 1,000 each time, guys. It's no monster, it's a god. Activate this skill during your main phase. Discard any number of cards, minimum 1, then add one Obelisk the Tormentor from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This skill can only be used once per duel. I think it's fine. I get that Raw's skill gives you the ability to then normal summon one extra time, but let's be fair, if this one said the same thing, you would just always play Obelisk over Raw, because Obelisk's just straight better. Knight of Legend! Activate the skill during your main phase. Each turn, one Gaia the Fierce Knight you normal summon can be normal summoned without tributing. Apply the following skill while you control Gaia the Fierce Knight monster or Gaia the Dragon Champion monster. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage once per turn. If it inflicted battle damage with this skill, draw 2 cards and then discard 1 card. This effect is literally Spiral Spear Strike, and I love it. The other effect that stays while this skill is face up is you cannot set cards in your spell and trap zone. That's a huge drawback, but I think it mitigates it pretty well. Honestly, I think you get so much extra pluses with this. I think it's fine. Last gamble. At the start of your 5th turn, activate this skill. Count both players' turns. During your main phase, you can reduce your life points to 100 and discard 2 cards from your hand. Oh, I remember this. Roll a 6-sided die and draw cards equal to the result. This skill can only be used once per duel. At the start of your 5th turn, during your main phase, reduce your life to 100 and discard 2 cards. You know how much the cost of that is to get this effect? Sure, you draw equal to your dice roll. That's disgustingly crazy. One of these doesn't need to be here, though. I'd probably tell you don't discard 2 cards. Because if you're discarding 2 and you're using this skill, and you roll a 1 or a 2, unless those cards were awful, was it worth paying 100 life points to do so? Then maybe get rid of this. I don't know. Low blow. Activate the skill during main phase. Once per duel, you can make 1 monster on the field lose 500 attack and defense until the end of the turn. Why is this once per duel? That's so bad. Why is that once per duel? I get this was like a sneak peek skill. It was meant to be for like fun games. Still, guys, make something more just make this once per turn. Once per turn and 800. There you go. Maybe then it'd be playable. Magician's Act. Add 1 Dark Magician from your deck to your hand, then shuffle 1 card from your hand into the deck. Shuffle 1 Dark Magician from your hand into the deck, then draw 1 card. During your main phase, you contribute 1 monster whose original name is Dark Magician to draw 2 cards. Each of these skills can only be used once per duel. Why not just change it to you can only use 1 of these effects once per turn? Alright, maybe make this effect once per duel. But these 2 can be just once a turn each. I don't think that'd be a problem. Magnetic Attraction. When a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster is normal summoned, you can add a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster with a different name from your deck to your hand. You can reveal 2 level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monsters with different names from your hand, and if you do, add a Valkyrion the Magna Warrior from your deck to your hand. Each skill is once per duel. I understand magnets get played, and most of the time with this skill. Does this effect need to be once per duel? Is that insane? I guess as once per turn, it gets insane. Maybe make it twice per duel though. We have Union freaking Hanger for XYZs. And while that's not a skill, you can play 3 of it. And that's, you know, yeah, you don't get to search every turn, but you get to equip one from the deck every turn. That seems kind of insane already. Millennium Eye, at the start of the duel, look at your opponent's opening hand. You may choose to have that player shuffle their hand into the deck and draw a new hand. If both players use a skill at the same time, the turn player resolves their skill first. That's cool that this is on this card and like no other skill. But, I mean, this is probably the only skill right now that literally starts at the beginning of the duel, so, you know, whatever. I played against a person in 2019 Nationals. There was a bunch of speed side events who played this on me 4 or 5 times in different flights. And almost every single time I drew a better hand than I started with. So by that logic, this doesn't seem like it's a great skill because it doesn't guarantee some type of advantage. That being said, why not change it to your opponent starts the duel with 1 less card in their opening hand? Maybe then it's more playable? Again, may not be, but like you flip it in the beginning, so they're only drawing 3 instead of 4, you know? Millennium Necklace. At the start of your opponent's turn, before they draw, you may look at the top 3 cards of their deck and rearrange them in any order. This skill can only be used once per duel. These cards are just so once per duel, man. Like, once per duel is fine if the effect is insane. Look at the top 3 cards of their deck and rearrange them. What if they're all broken? Does it really matter, you know? What if they're all the same? What if they're two are the same and one's not, so you top deck with the bad one, but you know, 1 turn's not enough for you to like take advantage of that, and then they draw their broken card the second turn in. Like, why is this? I don't even know how you change this. Top 5 cards? I don't know, some of these skills I just think are just bad in general. Mind Scan. At the start of your 3rd turn, if your life points are 3,000 or higher, activate this skill. Count both players' turns. You may look at your opponent's set, spell, and trap cards at any time. If your life points drop below 3,000, flip this card over. Cool, this gives you advantage in knowledge. But 3,000 or higher is rough. Like maybe 2,000 or higher. Yeah, I don't know. Mythic Depths. All fish, sea serpent, thunder, and aqua monsters on the field get 200 attack and defense. All machine and pyro monsters on the field lose 200 attack and defense. This card is Yumi while it's face up on the field. Shouldn't be on the field, should be outside the game. Perfectly fine if it's that. Nightmare Sonic Blast. You can only activate the skill while you control Serpent Knight Dragon. Once per turn, you can reveal the top 4 cards of your deck and use one of the following skills depending on the number of monsters revealed. 1 monster. Add 1 of the revealed cards to your hand. 2 monsters. Destroy 1 card your opponent controls. It doesn't target. 3 or more, apply both effects. Then place the rest of the revealed cards on top of your deck in any order. It's another example of a card that I think does not need to be affected whatsoever. You know, like Nightmare Sonic Blast for Serpent Knight Dragon, Knight of Legend for Guy the Fierce Knight. I think they did great on these. I think they're perfectly fine. Yeah, this card can be bullshit. You are correct. But you're playing Serpent Knight Dragon in your deck to play a bullshit skill. You deserve these effects with that in your deck. No more Mrs. Nice Mai. Once per turn, when a monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, destroy 1 spell trap on the field. Guys, I don't know why no one plays this. Actually, I think I know why no one plays this. Because Inner Conflict is just instantly better. Twisted Personality is almost better in most things. And unless you know the meta is like trap heavy or whatever, which it's not because Jinzo exists, and other things like Night Beam, Dust Tornado, all the a million ways you can get rid of spell and traps, Cosmic Cyclone. This just ends up not being so necessary. But I think this skill can get disgusting depending on the format. Palaminization. God, Joey Wheeler puns, man. During your turn, you may reveal 1 normal monster in your hand. This turn, that monster can substitute for any 1 fusion material. If you do, the other fusion materials must be the correct ones. This skill can only be used once per duel. I think this is a cool card that should not be, again, once per duel. any normal monster. You're already stuck playing normal monsters, right? But you draw Baby Dragon and you have red eyes in your hand, and you want to summon Meteor Black Dragon. You can turn the Baby Dragon into Meteor Dragon, and there you go. Problem is, you still need to draw Polymerization, or however you're fusion summoning this thing. And other problem is, you have to reveal a normal monster. Like outside of Red Eyes, you shouldn't be playing any other normal monsters in Red Eyes. Not in a 20 to 30 card Red Eyes deck. And you can't even make a Red Eyes deck, I don't think. Anyway, either way, Peak Performance, it's a field spell, keep it outside the game. Power of Dark, it's a field spell, keep it outside the game. Power of Friendship, you take no effect damage from your opponent's card effects during your turn. That's fine. We needed outs to burn. The fact that you can side skills and it doesn't have to be the same character anymore is really good, because this means if burn at any point in time ever becomes the irrelevant deck, we're all siding this. Power Up. Activate the skill during your main phase. Once per duel, you can make one face-up monster on the field, gain 500 attack until the end of the turn. Why is it once per duel? Just change it to once per turn. I don't think, yeah. Prescience. If your opponent's life points is more than twice your life points, activate this skill. You may look at the top card of both your and your opponent's deck at any time. Dude, literally, like, what? Again, throw Gishki Diviner in this game or something. Maybe then it has a chance. Oh, Archfiend's Oath. There we go, Archfiend's Oath. I don't know. That's... Rise of the Fallen. Activate the skill during your main phase. Special summon one level 4 lower fairy monster from your grave in defense position and gain life points equal to its original attack. Only be used once per duel. Make it more than that. Twice, 3 times. Come on, it's not OP. You have to put it in defense mode. It's not insane. Even if you brought back something like Gelin Duo, which I don't think we have yet, and that counts as 2 tributes for a fairy monster, who cares? Just give it to us. You have to sacrifice your skill is just Monster Reborn for level 4 lower fairy in defense. Once per game, you gain life. Who cares if you gain life? We need more gain life in this game. Ritual Ceremony. Activate this skill during your main phase. Once per duel, you can reveal 1 ritual monster from your hand, then add 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand that can ritual summon that monster. This effect actually isn't accurate anymore. This skill now reads, activate the skill during your main phase. You can reveal 1 ritual monster from your hand, then add 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand, whose name is listed on that ritual monster. This skill can only be used once per duel. This card actually is an example already of a card that has been errata'd. And what's crazy about that is what is the point of throwing out a survey saying, hey, should we errata cards or should we do ban lists instead, when you've already errata'd the card? I understand, like, the idea of changing 1 or 2 cards versus a plethora of cards is still worth the question. But they actually did errata something in Speed Duels already. With the way this is worded, you technically could reveal Relinquished in your hand, and then add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand that can ritual summon it, like Advanced Ritual Art, for example. But now you can only add a ritual spell that is listed on the ritual monster, so for example, Relinquished, you can only add Black Illusion Ritual. The card was already subpar, and it got worse. Why'd you make it worse? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't actually answer this one. I think maybe change it to how Dragon Caller is. You reveal the ritual monster and add the spell to your hand, or you reveal the ritual spell and add the monster to your hand. Well guys, that concludes this part of this multiple part series. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe as always. Click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates. And hey, if you have any suggestions or changes that you would make compared to what I did, please let me know down below, and let's have a discussion about this, shall we?